Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alfredo Fumaças from the Benfica podcast, and you're listening to the Seleção podcast with Danny Pinto.
Simões bending one for Torres. Eusebio. Oh my word! Have you ever seen anything like that?
Bem jogado por Simão, a passar por dois adversários, Simão a tentar oferecer o golo a Figo e a bola é golo! O golo de Figo!
Rui Costa vai, acreditou, vai tirar para o golo, atira o golo! 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 Cristiano Ronaldo, vai embora Cristiano Ronaldo, mete, bateu, golo! Chuta! Gol! Gol!
And we welcome you to episode number 58 of the Seleção podcast. I am your host, Danny Pinto. We are a proud partner of Portugal.net. And last episode, on episode 57, we had our friend Nathan Moats of Portugal.net to preview the Portuguese side of this playoff World Cup, or this World Cup playoff final that is going to take place on March the 29th. But we now go to Macedonia, and we go and we talk with Filip Mishov, a freelance journalist. He's been featured on ESPN, Sky Sports News, The Athletic UK, and Talk Sport, among others. He's going to give the Macedonian perspective of this final. That for one, I know that the Portuguese supporters are happy to be in, given all of the frustration that has been the qualifying and now being in the playoff, but the huge opportunity that it is for the North Macedonian Federation to make their first World Cup. But first things first, Philip, my name's Danny Pinto from the States, and thank you so much for joining us on the Seleção podcast.
Nice to hear from you, Danny, and a big thank you for the invitation for me to be your guest, and so we can talk about the big match on Tuesday.
Well, thank you very much for accepting the invitation. I really appreciate it. First things first, Philip, how long have you been a journalist, a freelance journalist, covering sport and covering this Macedonian soccer team?
Oh, well, I've been a freelance journalist and doing freelancing for the last 5 years, maybe. On and off sometimes, but mostly on when the national team was playing. But I'm not covering only the football national team. I also covered the other sports like handball, which is pretty popular over here in Europe and Macedonia, and it's been going well in the past couple of years due to the success of the Macedonia national team, and I hope it stays that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more on your end there. How have the last few days been in Macedonia in terms of the reception regarding the football team and their victory in Italy against the defending European champions?
It definitely it's been a hectic few days because everybody waited for the big game against Italy and looked across the other countries about what they think in their media about us, how they perceived us, how big chances gave or not gave to us, and thank God Macedonia defied the odds and the football got smiled upon us, and we are in the final. But prior to the game, a lot of people didn't give us a chance, and I felt that even because the Italian audience, and when I say audience, I believe I say it from media perspective, thought that they were already in the final. That backfired, and the players were also received that approach, even though they're European champions. And I believe you can see it on the pitch. during the game that the Macedonian players wanted it more, wanted to be in the final and leave their hearts out on the pitch, playing furiously until the final whistle, and that proved to be crucial with Trajkovski scoring the winner in extra time.
You know, in watching that match, getting to watch that match after the Portugal match, obviously, the Macedonian defense was on its heels almost the entire match, and it was a wall of defenders and midfielders all doing. I mean, even the forwards and the wingers too. At some point, just trying to salvage the shutout until that opportunity came in, I believe, the 92nd minute, in getting the goal that has Macedonia here in the playoff final, with a chance to make the first ever World Cup in the country's history. Obviously, I guess the time is a little different, simply because when you look back at the victory against Germany in qualifying, that had to be more than likely the biggest win in the federation's history up until that point. But how would you compare that victory in group play against Germany, and maybe the reaction from that win compared to the win against Italy just a couple of days ago?
Well, you mentioned the top two moments in Macedonian football history, and I would say there is another one. There is a match against Georgia, which happened in November 2020, when Macedonia played in the final of the Nations League for a place at Euro 2020. And I would say that a win against Georgia in that time, in terms of recognition and in terms of recognition worldwide for Macedonian football, was also very important, because we made our first major tournament ever, and that gave us a boost, confidence for then the win against Germany, and now for the win against Italy. But definitely Italy, I would put Italy in the first place alongside the win against Georgia, and maybe Germany comes second, because in terms of magnitude and in terms of importance of the match, we won against Italy and we are in the final. Against Georgia, we won against Georgia, and we went to Euros. So hopefully that can go on now, and we can win in Porto and go to the World Cup.
Well, I don't want that to happen, Filip, but I understand where you're coming from for sure. We're talking with Filip Mishov here. He's a freelance journalist from Macedonia, and he is kind enough to spend some time with us on episode number 58 of the Seleção podcast. We are of course previewing the final between Portugal and North Macedonia. Winner take all. The winner goes to the World Cup. The loser goes home. Obviously, a huge match for both of the countries here. But what can you tell us? Because Macedonia isn't Portugal, isn't Italy, isn't Germany. It's not an established country in terms of football. So, in terms of knowing the history, and in terms of knowing maybe even the day-to-day, either players or coaches for Macedonia, it may not be as we may not be as familiar with it like you are, and it's likewise you might not be familiar with some of the stuff that happens in Portugal like I am. But what can you tell us about your new manager, Blagoje Milevski, who took over for Igor Angel? I hope I say these right, Filip. Igor Angelovski, who took the team to the Euros these past Euros. What can you tell us about your new manager, and how he may be different from the old manager that got you to the first international competition?
In all honesty, Blagoje Milevski, the current coach, it all started with him, because this group of players, this generation of talented players, Blagoje Milevski made the first step in 2017 as the under-21 coach of Macedonia. And with these guys, he made it to the Euros for the first time in the history of the country, at any level, at any football level. So it all started with him, with the under-21s, And then Igor Angelovsky, who was the senior coach of the senior national team, took over the guys from the under 21s and continued the tradition by playing good football, getting results, and it all resulted in making the Euros. And once Macedonia made the Euros, and Igor Angelovsky was already around 5 years in his reign, the Macedonia Football Federation decided to change coaches and gave Milevski a chance. The difference between Igor Angelovsky and Blagojin Milevski is that Angelovsky is a bit like, let's say, I wouldn't say defensive coach, but he relies a lot on counter-attacking football and stuff like that. Unlike Milevski, who has an attacking approach, he's an attacking-minded coach, and he likes from his players to have most of the ball and to create more and more chances. And the thing with Milevski is that he really doesn't care who we play, because if you saw the game in Germany when we won under Angelovsky, it was a bit like hit and run, and we played good periods of the game and we won in the end. But in the return leg in Skopje, even though Macedonia could have parked the bus and put 5 defenders at the back, Milevski again tried to attack Germany, and that resulted in 4-0 for Germany in that match. So he only has one approach, that's attack, and even if you saw the match stats against Italy, you would think that Italy totally outperformed us and had like 30 attempts on goal. But in all honesty, 30 out of those 30 attempts, 20 were over the bar or in the stands, or they didn't create a lot, while Macedonia had its chance and took it. So in terms of playing style, it really is about who do you prefer. I would compare the playing style of Angelovsky maybe to your Jose Mourinho, because he's his idol and he looks for that playing style structure. So every player knows what to do on the pitch. He must have one destroyer in the midfield, while Milevski wants from his players to be more technical, to be more creative.
Okay, we're talking with Filip Mishov here as we're previewing and looking at the Macedonian point of view of this playoff World Cup final, as the Seleção will be hosting Macedonia on March the 29th at the Dragão on Tuesday. We've mentioned the manager here. Let's talk about the players that Milevski is managing. The days of Goran Pandev are over with Macedonia. The legend, I believe, played his last games. Was it at the Euro? The last Euro that he retired after?
Yes, he retired after the Euros, and his last game was against the Netherlands.
Okay, so he and he's such a legend in Macedonian football, and was such a great player in Europe. But who are the players here now that on the national team for Macedonia? Who are some players that us as fans of not only the Portuguese national team but of European football, who are some of the players that are names to look for, not only on Tuesday but going forward for the national team from North Macedonia?
Well, the name which the Portugal audience will be familiar with is definitely the captain of the squad. He's Stefan Ristovski. He used to play for Sporting Lisbon.
Yep. And
he spent, I believe, 3 or 4 years there in Portugal, and he was a fan favorite in Sporting, and he used to play with Bruno Fernandes, who now is at United, as you know, and they're huge fans of the pitch. And there is actually a picture circling around Macedonia now with Bruno in Macedonia's shirt, because they're as I said, they're friends, and Stefan Wistovski gave him a shirt of the Macedonian national team as a gift a few years ago. So Stefan Wistovski will be definitely one to watch because, as you know, he was at Sporting. He used to captain Sporting on a few occasions, and in the end, it ended pretty ugly in terms because Stefan Wistovski didn't want to leave Sporting at the time, and they were determined to get rid of him, and he refused to leave. So he spent 6 or 8 months on the bench, and then got sold in Croatia. So he will definitely be looking to. I wouldn't say revenge. He probably remembers fondly that time, but from his perspective, I don't think he likes how it ended. But because he loves Portugal, he loves the Sporting Lisbon fans, and he is great with them. But he didn't like how the club reacted to his refusal to leave. Other players who are definitely the core of the Macedonian team are Elif Elmas. He's now our best player. He's at Napoli, and he missed the game against Italy due to yellow card suspension. So we beat Italy without our best player, and he returns fresh for the final in Porto now. I would put Elmas in top 20 in Europe of his under 23 players because he is a big talent with already a vast of experience due to his time with Napoli, Fenerbahce, and already in Macedonia with the national team and his previous club. And you can always count on Ezgian Alioski, who is playing left back. He was at Leeds, or the goalkeeper Tole Dimitrievski, who is playing at Rayo Vallecano and had a fantastic first half of the season with them. So there are definitely a few more players who are very good and who made good progress and who are vital cock of the team. But definitely I will put the captain Ristovski, the wonder kid Elmas, the goalkeeper, as I said, and you have guys like Bardi, like the center backs Musliu and Velkovsky, and those are our best players, I would say.
Lastly, Filip, and I can't thank you enough for your time. Obviously, the time difference and trying to make sure that we get all this taken care of and done. I really appreciate you making the time for us. North Macedonia. You mentioned your top three, which was the Italy match, the Germany match, and then the match against Georgia. What would it mean to, and it's not about beating Portugal, but what would it mean to win on Tuesday, not only for the federation, but for the country of Macedonia to make the World Cup for the very first time?
I can't even imagine because if the win against Italy provoked such scenes around the country with people celebrating up until the early morning, this will be celebrated probably for the next month because it's interesting, and I agree with some of the players from the Macedonian national team. They talked to the media a few days ago, and one of them said, we beat Germany in Germany and we beat Italy in Italy, that they are European champions now, and we are still not at the World Cup. So it's unreal that we beat Germany in the qualifiers and Italy in the playoffs, and we are still not at the World Cup because a lot of the other teams had a much easier path to the World Cup. So beating Italy, and now if we beat Portugal and go to the World Cup, it will be another shock to the football world. Not just to the football world, but also to the world. And it would mean a lot for a further recognition of Macedonian football and for all the good stuff that happened in the last 18 months. But the players won't lack motivation, definitely, and I'm sure that Portugal won't lack motivation too. But I believe again Macedonia will want it more because we have never been there. It will be our promised land if we go to Qatar, and it will be the pinnacle of this football players' careers, and also to the coach. And with our best player returning for the final, you can't help but feel a bit optimistic about our chances, because definitely Portugal will be attacking, but Macedonia has we will get a couple of chances, and if we took them, who knows what will happen next, as it happened in Palermo with Tarkovsky.
Yeah, absolutely. Something came to me during your response. In my last episode that I did, I was talking with our guest Nathan Moats about the pressure, and actually the last couple of episodes, the pressure that is on Portugal, given the players that Portugal has, given the opportunity that this current roster has of trying to get every bit of opportunity and take advantage of that opportunity that they can with the group that they have. So I feel that there's a lot of pressure on Portugal, especially playing at home. Whether it was against Italy or Macedonia, if they were able to get to the final, I think there'd be a huge amount of pressure on them to make it to the World Cup playing at home. What is the, maybe not expectation, but what is the, I guess, trajectory of Macedonia in terms of football? And would it be, I know it would be disappointing, but do you think it would be a step backwards if you didn't make the World Cup this go around, if your team is on an upward trajectory already, if you get what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say it would be a step back, because with all these big wins, Macedonia is already in this football conversation, and is trying to get there. Is trying to be among the top 50, I would say, in Europe and in the world, and we're slowly but surely getting there. And it wouldn't be a disaster to miss the World Cup, because we are playing Portugal. We are not playing some third a poor national team. We are playing Cristiano Ronaldo, we are playing Bruno Fernandes, we are playing one of the best players in the world. So if one of the best players in the world stops us from going to Qatar, it's not a big disaster. But the sole match that is against Portugal it's big for Macedonian football, because the eyes of the world will be on this game. And as you said, with the pressure, if you watch the game against Italy, you could see it in Mancini's eyes, that with every passing minute and every missed chance, the pressure was growing and growing on him and his players. And it will be the same on Ronaldo and the other guys, because you don't know what will happen if the games goes goalless in the last 20. Anything can happen. It can be a penalty from a stupid handball play in corner or stuff like that, and small margins can decide the game. But from Macedonian perspective, the first 15 to 20 minutes are most important. If Macedonia doesn't concede in those 20 minutes, I believe the players will try and get creative and do stuff on the pitch, and that will be very important. If Portugal scores in the first 20 minutes, that it can get ugly, because Macedonia will open and start to attack and start to get in goal scoring positions, and there will be holes in the back that definitely the Portugal players can expose. But as I said, it isn't always about quality on the paper. It's about motivation on the pitch, and about how bad do you want it. And we will see on Tuesday who wants it more. And you can easily notice that in a few minutes on the pitch, from the players' body language and from their reactions. But it will be a great game, and I expect a tough fight.
Yeah, I mean, Portugal's not Italy. They're not Germany. I mean, those teams are awful. So be ready.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Filip, again, I can't thank you enough. I really enjoyed this conversation. It's stories like in teams like this that I root for. I think a lot of people root for the underdog, root for the team that traditionally is maybe not supposed to be here. I wish under all circumstances that it wasn't Portugal against Macedonia, because I'd be rooting for Macedonia like crazy after this conversation that we've had. With that said, I would like this story of North Macedonia to end on Tuesday, and I hope you can understand that on my end. But I've really enjoyed our conversation, and all the best to you guys on Tuesday, and all the best to the North Macedonian Football Federation going forward, because it seems like you guys are, like I said, in a upward trajectory, and that's only good for all football fans, especially those in your home country.
Thank you very much once again for the invitation, and I hope to see Ronaldo and the guys cry on Tuesday.
Well, tears of joy or tears of sadness? You didn't say which ones. So if they're tears of joy, I'll take those.
One thing is for sure, there will be tears on Tuesday.
You know what?
Who
We
will.
will agree on that, Filip. Thank you so much for joining us again, and all the best to you.
Thank you.
And that was our conversation here with Filip Mishov. Again, give him a follow on Twitter for all things Macedonian sports. That is, you can see right there. It's at F Mishov on Twitter. I had a blast talking with Filip. And again, under all circumstances, I would be pulling for a team like North Macedonia for sure. Obviously, I mean the jacket and the pictures and the soccer balls and the logo of this podcast, if you're watching this on YouTube, will not allow me to do that. This Seleção needs to make it to the World Cup, and I hope that we do on Tuesday. But I'm hoping for a great result for the Seleção, and honestly, hope for all the best of things to come forward with North Macedonia in the years to come. But that will do it for us here on episode number 58 of the Seleção podcast. Again, follow us on Twitter at selecaopod, also on Instagram at selecaopod, facebook.com/selecaopod, and you can email the show selecaopod@gmail.com and bookmark our website selecaopod.com. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, or subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, and make sure you hit the like button on the YouTube video right here. I don't know where the like button is if you're seeing it, but and then also if you can give us 5 stars on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. My name is Danny Pinto. I have been your host of episode number 58 of the Seleção podcast, a proud partner of Portugal.net. Again, as I said in the last episode, 1 game down, 1 game to go. Hopefully we will see our Seleção in the World Cup in Qatar. But Tuesday awaits, and we shall see what happens there. But as always, folks, Força Portugal!